Hey, welcome to the Join the Journey podcast. I'm Aaron Chase. I'm the host of the podcast. Real quick before we start the episode, I just made an Instagram specifically for the podcast. So it's JTJ Pod on Instagram. And I want to start growing the podcast. I want more views. I want more people to watch and enjoy it and get to know all of these Chicago comedians. So if you could follow the Instagram and share all of these clips and these pictures and these videos as much as possible, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's start the episode.
Having gone through the process of a couple different projects at this point and like seeing how much time that it takes.
Yeah.
And also like there's like I think where I was at 2 years ago, I like got off on the idea that I could just like do something really quick and be done with it. I had a lot of like young confidence and I feel beaten down. Now, you're catching me honestly. Not that, I mean, I'm crazy young, but like you're catching me at a time where I feel fucking beaten down. I feel the opposite of that.
How old are you again?
23.
23. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, okay, and I'm 32. So I get you. I get you. I'm curious what was happening these past 2 years. Okay, for a little bit of context, I forgot that this is a podcast and I got to give some context for people. How did we meet? Do you remember?
I had seen you at Mike's. I followed you on Instagram. Okay. And then you posted on your story that you were trying to make an animated show. And you were looking for artists.
That was ballsy of me.
Or someone who could draw.
Yeah.
And I DM'd you and I was like, hey, I think I know a couple people and I think I could help you produce this project. And then we started working on that. And then we did the Milwaukee thing. We did the street stand-up in Milwaukee shortly after that. And then we lost touch. I didn't see you for a long time.
Yeah, what happened? Did it just life and comedy and drifting away? Shit, my bad.
I don't know. I also, yeah, I guess. Well, then I don't know if I was living in the suburbs or not when.
I'm pretty sure you were in the burbs. Yeah,
I was. Yeah. So yeah, I guess just a lot just happened in life.
It's good to see you again.
It's so good to see you again, dude. It's such a treat talking to you.
Okay, yeah, stroke my ego. Let's hear this.
Go
ahead, no, have fun. Yeah, thank you.
Dude, I do. I like that. It's not often you run into someone where you give them a compliment and they'll be like, all right, give me a little more of that.
I'm learning how to, not only am I learning how to accept compliments,
but milk them.
Yeah, really jerk myself off. But
that's cool though, because I have a hard, I think a lot of people have a hard time accepting compliments.
Yeah.
And you brush them off. But
I got it. But I enjoy speaking to you as well. I'm curious why you say that, and
I think you have like a spaciousness to you that makes me feel like talking.
A spaciousness.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
It's like your energy is like creates an environment for me to want to talk. Like I feel like you are very I don't know. I feel like you meet me where I am. You know?
Okay.
I don't know.
I think I enjoy speaking to you because you're intelligent in the way you articulate what you like. People,
even though I just butchered all of that.
I mean, I get what you're saying. But people don't articulate themselves well. Generally speaking, I've come to learn like most people have a hard time at explaining what they mean or their perception about things because, from my experience, when people ask someone a question, they're really just waiting for their time to talk.
Yeah.
And so, what I've realized about myself is when I'm asking a question, I'm actually asking a question, and I think that might be part of it. Like I sincerely want to hear what you have to say.
You ask a lot of follow-ups. I think that's part of like the spaciousness though. Is like there is an environment for you to talk more because you're interested.
Yeah.
Like when you seem interested.
People I like how you people because people are interesting. Like people are fucking fascinating and weird.
Yeah.
And so especially comedians. That's what's been interesting about this podcast is every single one has been so goddamn different. You said you watched a few. I don't know who you watched.
You sent me a couple. Claire Sunby.
Yeah. I've been gushing over
you
that
sent
one.
me two. There was you. I think you had gotten in an argument with somebody like just before that.
Matthew Doyle Perez.
Yeah. and then Claire Sunby, and then I think I listened to another episode maybe a while ago.
With the I know I sent those because they were opposite experiences.
Right.
Where I was like, okay, just so you know, so you can gauge what this podcast is like when I'm disagreeing with someone versus when I'm just completely on the same page. And even with as much as I disagree with Matthew Doyle Perez, it's fascinating. Like, it's really interesting to hear someone's perspective about slavery, and the way, again, reiterating, I disagree, but I'm fascinated by the thought process. Like, I don't understand. Did you get to the slavery part?
I listened to all of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And before we get into it, another rule I've made, because he keeps getting brought up in this podcast, because that was a particularly contentious episode.
Yeah, well, I think like it seemed like it left like an emotional mark on you.
Yes.
It left a stink on you.
I think a stink for a little bit. Hi, Matthew, if you listen. No,
Hey,
I'm
Matthew.
not mad at you.
I don't know if we've met.
That's the thing. He's a very nice.
He seemed
guy.
really nice.
He's very nice, and so I think it initially left a stink, because you know how passionate I am about race and history and all of that stuff. And then as time has gone on, I've done more podcasts and more episodes. It's more like a curiosity. It's gone from this frustration to removing judgment and just being curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then I think that also goes back to the compliment that I was trying to give you. Like, you do have this curiosity about you, this curiosity for the world, and this curiosity about people. And while I was listening to that conversation, because it was going on for so long, and I knew, like, I was like, if I was having this conversation, I would have just dropped it. I would have ended it. I would have tried to change the subject. I would have deflected in some way. But you just kept going. From a place that felt very curious. But I feel like I would have tried to dismiss that. And obviously I don't have the same,
we're different people. Sure.
Right.
It was like, when you're watching a movie where, oh, you're a movie guy, that's perfect. When you're watching a movie and more information gets divulged, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then another turn happens. You're like, whoa, but I thought we were here. And then another turn happened, and it's like it just kept going. And I get enveloped in that. And I know at some point we take a pretty hard right turn and just drop it, and then it doesn't get brought up again. But yeah, I don't know, man. But the compliment's appreciated. But you, to go back to you a little bit. So these past 2 years, because we haven't been keeping in touch, and I want to stay in touch.
I would love to stay. You know what? I'm really bad about keeping in touch with everybody.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
After this long discussion, we'll figure it
out. Yeah.
But these past 2 years, what happened that got you this? I don't know if jade is the right word, but
I think it's growing up shit though. Like there's this experience that I have with stand up too, and that I'm having with stand up right now, where it's like, if this is something that you want to do with your life, like it's just gonna beat you up, and you have to let it beat you up. And in that process, the whole time you're like, is this worth me getting beat up this way? Do I love it this much? Like, do I want this badly? And yeah, emotionally that does something to me. And I made this project with a friend. Like, we started writing scripts when we were in high school.
Was this the project when I first met you?
Yeah, this is the thing that I was working on.
Oh, wow.
So we were like, we're going to make this 7-episode like web series, this mini series, this coming of age thing, like 7 half-hour episodes. And we wrote them all, and we loved the scripts. And then we started making it, and it's really hard, and we didn't know what we were doing. We had like a lot of great people who were helping us out, but we were spreading them super thin. We were spreading ourselves super thin. And it's like, it was just like, how much of this can you take, and how much of this, like, how much stress can you ask somebody else to go through for you?
For free?
Yeah, dude. And all this shit, like trying to learn this at 21. And like that confidence that I was talking to you like about that before that was it, like a beautiful like naivety, right? That like gave me the drive to be able to create, but the having had experience and having, because I feel like I failed because we didn't end up finishing that project. We shot like half of it out of order, and then like lost steam, and I felt like a huge failure. I still feel like a huge failure.
Yeah.
All the time for that. So yeah, it definitely like it that took a twinkle out of my eye.
I think the twinkle gets you started, and then when the twinkle goes away is when reality sets in, and you get. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think the process that you went through, whatever that was like, I'm sure it was shitty.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, it's going to be, as long as you stay, and you're going to stay with it. I don't know. I don't know you, but I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to stay with it, and you're going to look back in maybe like 3 or 4 more years and be like, oh, that shit was good.
Maybe.
Me.
It's interesting though, because it's like my like mental and emotional relationship with art, like with stand up and with film, like just ebbs and flows so much. So right now I feel, like I said, I'm coming in here like right now on a time where I feel really, really beaten down.
Yeah.
So I'm having one of those moments where I'm like, this might not be the thing for my life. And I'm going to push through that because like it comes a lot and I'm going to push through that. But it's like, do I have, because it's kind of faith, right? Mm-hmm. It's very faith-based. The idea that like you can have a life in art or in entertainment at all. It's kind of like believing in a God. And there are times, because I grew up like really religious, there were times, and I'm not anymore, but there were times where I did really truly in my heart believe that there was a God, and there were times where I'm almost positive that there's not, and there were times where I was like really uncertain. And that's kind of how I feel about stand-up and how I feel about movies right now, where it's like I really would like this to be the case. I really would like for there to be a future for me in stand-up and in movies. And the only really like, you just have to keep doing it. But like there are times where like I have like a visualization of that, and it feels like there is something like tangible that I'm working towards. And there are times right now where I feel like I'm like treading water. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know what started that.
I think it sounds like this project started that, right? Like up until the end of the project, you were supremely confident. When I met you, you were so like ready,
wildly confident.
Yeah.
Wildly manic confident.
But now there's like almost a. It's not that you're not confident now, but there's almost like a maturity. It's a more mature and humble confidence.
Thank you. I mean, I would say it's both. I don't feel confident right now.
Okay.
I don't feel very confident at all right now. But along with that, I do feel a maturity, a perspective. You know, like you ever hear about how like they say that like people who are depressed like more accurately, they're able to better accurately describe themselves.
I didn't hear.
That's something that was told to me by a therapist. Like when you're depressed, like people who are going through depression and people who aren't going through depression, in the way that they see themselves, like people who are depressed are actually much more realistic in the way that they see themselves. But it's like a hyper realism that they're fixated on that is like dark and scary. And that's kind of how I feel in terms of like confidence right now.
Right now. Yeah. And it's almost like that delusion is what keeps you going. You need the real being the realism of yourself, but you need that little bit of delusion to keep
well it's trucking. Like it's not even like it is delusion, but it's also like fog, you know, like visually what you're taking in right now, like you can only focus on so much, right? And your brain has to fill things in, and it has to like blur some things out. But it's like when you're going through a time where your head is just like full of shit, you can't fucking focus on anything, and you feel like you can't do anything. Yeah,
I know that feeling. I guess since we're catching up a little bit, where I am right now is I think, because you never know when it's over. I think I was in that. I'm in that fog now, and I'm coming out of it. But it's purely financial. So this past, I'm an interpreter.
Yeah.
Okay. So interpreting is not as consistent as people would imagine, and so this past summer I have not been employed, and I have been sinking deeper and deeper into like it's really bad. It's giving me anxiety just talking about it.
Yeah.
And I should be starting work on the 13th. I keep looking at that fucking calendar over there. I should be starting work on the 13th, and I'll be getting paid on the 22nd. And when that starts to happen, then I'll feel like I'm out of the fog. But I had a moment, and I'm so excited to see whatever happens to you in the future, for you to look back on this. It's just keep going. What the short of this is, please just keep going. Don't ever stop. I don't think you will, but just keep going. So I think those dreams that you're manifesting or seeing, I think they're going to come true, but they're going to come true in a way that you had not expected, and it's going to feel different than you thought it would. And my reason for saying that is this past, what was it? What is before September? Jesus Christ. August. So August 2023, for the first time in my life, I paid rent through stand-up.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. See all that smile you have on your face? I couldn't enjoy it. In the same, I know, right? So I couldn't enjoy it because it was oh, thank God I have stand-up. I wouldn't have paid rent. I'm not thriving with stand-up. I'm surviving with stand-up. And all my years, like for all the, what is 8 going on like 9 years of doing this shit, in my head I was like, when I make money to make a living, when I can pay my rent with stand-up, it's gonna be the shit, baby. And it was like I was proud of myself, but I was like, I'm not celebrating, I'm surviving. And this same with September, probably October, because I got to catch up on everything. Yeah. So, yeah, it's weird how when you get whatever type of success you get, what's probably going to happen is life is going to manipulate it in such a way that it's still not. I don't even know if I have the words. What are you thinking right now? I feel
something tangential to this. I feel like what you're going through right now. But it's like, I really, ideally, like doing it would be enough, right? Like just doing stand up.
Like not making a living, just doing stand up
would be enough. Well, and like, the fact that it paid your rent, like should be awesome. But like the idea that you have more that you want from it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking about this week is that like I feel really stressed out right now. Like I feel spread thin. I'm working a lot. I'm not sleeping. I'm not taking care of myself the way that I should be. And on top of that, stand up feels like just another stressor. It feels like another burden. Mm-hmm. But like stand up should be the relief from all of that. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it should be like a thing that grounds me. And it is at times. It is like when I allow it to be, but like when I want it to be something else, mm-hmm. It can't be that.
What do you want it to be?
Like what I want it to be that's getting in the way right now?
When you say when you want it to be something else, but you can't have it that way, what do you want it to be?
I want to be good at it.
Do you not feel like you're good at it?
No.
Why?
I think I measure that in a way that's not productive. I think
you count laughs.
Definitely.
You count laughs?
In what way? What do you mean?
Like
because I might rescind that.
Like you'll this is why I like talking to you. You just use the word rescind. Unironically, you just use good. But like there's people like I think like a Jerry Seinfeld would listen back and literally count how many times the laughs happened.
Oh no, I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't record.
Oh, maybe you should.
I definitely should. Well, I stopped recording.
Why?
Because I hated myself. I hate myself so much. And I was hating myself too much, and it was getting in the way. Yeah. Me listening to myself doing stand-up was getting in the way of me being able to like perform honestly in front of people.
Perform honestly in front of people. Because you were like in the back of your head, you were thinking about the.
I was performing for my phone in the back of the room. Wow. I was performing for myself in 90 minutes in a car ride where I'm gonna like scream and hate myself. Yeah. And it took me out of the room. And getting back to what,
it's so strange because we haven't caught up like this.
Yeah.
And you're very different than last time we met up at that mic in Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
But
Trace.
Talking at a mic though doesn't feel the same as this or like a car ride.
No, and also for me, I'm like so new, so it's like the amount of time that's passed since we've seen each other is like a pivotal amount of time. It's like a toddler walking amount of time. Kind of, I feel. I don't know.
Yeah, I forget that I'm so much older than you because you carry yourself in a very mature way. So
well, thank you for saying that. But and reverse compliment back to you.
Okay, yeah.
Is you are, and there have been other people throughout my life, and I do feel mature for I have older brothers that are like they're like 6 and 8 years older than me. So I felt like I had to grow up fast, and I was always around people who were older than me. But you, and there have been other people in my life like this, but like being willing to like listen to someone younger than you is uncommon. Like and like the curiosity that you have is very beautiful, but like not the openness to listen, like being open to the idea that I have something of value to share with you with a 9-year age gap between us is uncommon. And I think that's part of the reason why I like talking to you.
Thank you. In your experience, it's uncommon, or you think in general it is?
I think in general it's uncommon. And I think whenever like I meet someone who I feel like gives me that kind of space, I really, really appreciate that, and that it is so like it helps me grow so much as a person, because you get to connect with someone who's farther ahead in life in a way that's more intimate, because they put trust onto you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think the reason why I'm open to younger people is because you couldn't tell me shit for a year. Like, fuck, I would say around late elementary school, definitely into middle school, high school, early college, late college, post college. You couldn't tell me shit until quarantine. Like, as far as I was concerned, I was even after I learned really hard lessons, and I did change, it was like a rusty gear grinding and slowly moving, and now it's a lot more fluid. It's like okay, I probably just don't know about this. And I think part of that was from moving across the country.
Oh, dude, that's something I'm so jealous of. I feel in my life so like devoid of that experience.
Yeah.
Because I live 40 minutes away from where I grew up. I see my parents all the time. I live with like friends from high school. And I feel like I'm missing out on that experience of uprooting yourself and being alone in a new place.
Dude, I'm going to talk a little bit, and then I will
Please talk.
Pass it back to you. I remember before I moved, there was these guys I worked with, George and Will. Shouts out to y'all if you listen to this.
Shout out George and Will.
Yeah, George Frito, Will Henderson. And George was from Hawaii and moved to California when he was like 19, 20, which is, I moved here at 30. I can't imagine doing that. Like, he left everything and he moved. And then Will is from Michigan, and he moved to California. I think he was in his early 20s. And we would sit and we would do these podcasts, we would talk. And they all had stories. They were all like, yeah, back home, it was like, you know, the weather was like this, and they had the ocean, and culturally. And then Will would talk about the snow and what it was like living in that. And I was always, down the street, I got jumped. And then over there, that was my old elementary school. And here's the house I grew up. Like, it was all right next to each other. And I felt not stupid. I felt like I was just devoid of a particular type of experience. And they were a big reason, they were a big push to why I moved out here. And as far as your situation right now, I think you'll know when you're ready. My instinct is to be like, oh, fucking move somewhere, go to Florida or whatever. But like, I think you'll know when you're ready. And when you do, please let me know, because it is a wild experience.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make you grow in a way you couldn't have fathomed.
Yeah, and I feel like I want that. I feel stunted in my growth right now.
Is that part of this depression that you're in right
now? Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, up until like the last few days, I haven't really realized that I'm kind of in a depression. I ebbs and flows, you know? But I'm also just like, I'm spread too thin right now.
When you say spread too thin, what are you doing? Like, you have work?
I'm working a lot. I guess, what the fuck am I doing? I'm working a lot, doing mics. I'm trying to finish this goddamn movie. We're doing another project right now that...
You don't seem happy about that shit at all.
It takes so fucking long. It all takes so fucking long.
I want to get into that, the movie thing.
Yeah.
And okay, I should have written shit down. Okay, hold on. Keep. It takes so long. I'm gonna write something down.
Yeah. Well, it's just like it. I don't know, and it's an uncomfortable thing to like being. It feel like I call it like being inside of a production, like while you're like in between your first shot and your final shot of photography, like while you're inside of production on a project, like your life feels upside down. Like you don't feel like, or at least I shouldn't say you, but like how I feel. I don't feel like I can have a structure to my life. There's like things are getting scheduled like last minute because there's so many different conflicts. So I don't feel like grounded or centered in myself at all while I'm inside of a project. So it's like, it's not even me just being upset because this thing is taking longer than I thought it was going to, but it's like I at some point made the active decision to postpone my sanity until this thing was over. And I signed on to that for longer than I intended to. And now I feel lost.
Okay. Would you like to hear old man advice?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna break this down into 3 parts, young blood. All right, young Thundercat, we gonna get into. I don't do that joke anymore. I haven't done that shit in a minute. Okay.
I remember that bit.
Yeah, I haven't done that shit in a while. My stand-up has changed a lot too. Okay. I have 3 parts. We'll talk about all of them, but I'll let you pick which one you want to talk about first. So your movie versus my movie. I'm also making a movie right now.
Right.
Spread Too Thin and Hobbies Just for Fun. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's skip Spread Too Thin because honestly, I think I might just be freaking out because I didn't sleep that much last night. So your movie versus my movie or hobbies. Dude, I've been talking to people about hobbies. I don't feel like I've ever had a hobby.
Okay, let's get into that because I think, the way you were talking about stand-up being, it's supposed to be the thing. I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Right. I think that sunken-eyed frustration, that depression towards stand-up happens when you don't have other shit that you like doing just because you like doing it. So I think that I've been doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And then about the drawing because it's literally because
I almost ruined one of your drawings when I walked in here.
I think the coffee stain gives it character.
There's not a stain.
There's not a stain, and it doesn't matter. That's the thing with the nope. Don't get sidetracked, Aaron. So hobbies just for fun. Now that I have drawing, I picked hobbies that were like different from each other. So drawing is the quiet, meditative, calm hobby that doesn't require an audience or anybody else. Yeah. And then jiu-jitsu is the physical, the physical manifestation of a hobby where it's exercise, but it's a skill that I'm learning. It gets aggression out. And then I have stand-up, which is the career. And because I have these other things, not only is it giving me other things to talk about, but it makes stand-up feel more fun. So in terms of...
What about it, though?
Why does it make stand-up feel more fun? Because all the pressure isn't on my set. It's like before drawing and stand-up... before drawing and jiu-jitsu, if I had a bad set, well, that's... Okay, my night's fucked. Because
that's what you were relying on.
Yep.
For all of your validation, for all of your confidence, for all of your peace in your life. You were relying on 5 minutes to go well.
Yeah.
Off chance.
Yeah. In front of maybe 3 or 4 people. Yeah. Right. And whereas I have a sense of control with drawing, I get frustrated and then I'm like, fuck, I've got to put this down because this is pissing me off. Let me go to my jiu-jitsu now. Let me watch UFC. Let me go to the gym. Oh, I got tapped and I got choked the fuck out by a black belt. It's okay. All right, well, I got stand-up. Okay, I bombed. It's okay. I got drawing. I got drawing's frustrating. Okay, I got jiu-jitsu. And it goes and it goes. And it balances you. You have, like, I don't think you want to be the comic that only talks about comedy. Do you know Bill Burr?
Yeah.
What kind of dumbass question?
You ever heard of Louis C.K.?
Yeah, did Louis C.K. ring a bell? Dave Chappelle or something? So Bill Burr, he does everything. He plays drums. He flies helicopters. Yeah. He loves sports. And I was trying to emulate him for a long time. And I saw what he was doing, and I was trying to copy what he does. And then I found what I do. I found drawing and jiu-jitsu, and I was like, oh, okay. oh, okay, so this is just what he's naturally interested in. This is what I'm naturally interested in, but it builds you as a person and a comic.
You know what's so interesting, though, is my instincts tell me the exact opposite. My instincts tell me that when stand-up's not going well, slice everything else out of your life. Don't think about anything else. Don't talk to anybody else.
Why? This is going to be some spooky lighting.
I think I'm mean to myself in a way that's very it's football, man. It's football. It's like growing up, all I cared about was football, and all I want. I thought being good at life was being good at football. And when you're that way and you have that intensity, and there's like coaches around you who want to feed that. I got so fucking intense, and I got so used to just pushing myself so hard, and that's why I work so much, you know, and that's why I like fucking don't sleep. And on top of that, like I still like I'm gonna have a social life, and I'm gonna like hit mics, and I'm gonna write, and if I'm not, I am mentally tormenting myself for not doing that. I'm picking myself apart. I'm so mad at myself when I'm not working hard, because it goes back to football, because like if you're not working out, somebody else is working harder than you know, and come September, like dude. And dude, after I quit, like it was really emotional for me quitting football senior year of high school. And after I quit, like I didn't watch football and I didn't talk about football for like a long time, and I just let all of those feelings sit. So now in a moment like this, there's like a lot that kind of comes back out of me.
This is the crying podcast. So
I don't cry.
You don't cry?
No.
When's the last time you cried?
You know what? I'll get like a single tear, I call it the Native American tear, like in Wayne's World with the garbage. Yeah. But when was the last time I cried? I'll have like a full-on breakdown about every 9 months.
It builds up, and then it.
Yeah, so I think like a year ago, I cried in front of my roommates over money shit. I was sinking and terrified. Yeah, and that was the last thing that got me. Before that, I don't know though. You know, like death, breakups,
big things.
No. I don't cry at those things.
Oh,
well, that's not true. I have cried at breakups. I haven't cried in like in the last
memories
2 years.
Jesus, dude, that's when next time you cry.
I've cried maybe 2 or 3 times in the last like 2 or 3 years.
I hope I'm there.
What do you mean?
The
next time I cry,
I want to be there next time you cry.
I have to be broken. Is the thing.
Yeah.
I have to feel completely broken and helpless, and it's a dirty, ugly cry. But that's because like I fight so hard against being broke. I don't want anything to break me, and that's football shit too. Yeah. Where it's like I don't ever like. You can't show pain because you're not in pain. Just don't be in pain. Mm-hmm. Just don't.
I can't wait till you're 30 and you look back on this, because you're not gonna have the energy, like all of this energy of like I know it, it's in me too, but at a certain age, like your body physically can't do the level of energy.
Yeah, and you know I was thinking about this on the drive over, and like part of the reason that I do it to myself is because I think that I can take it, and I can't. But like part of the reason why I'm so hard on myself, why like I'm so angry at myself, part is like I think if I hate myself for long enough, I'll succeed. I can hate myself into succeeding, which is a fallacy. That's one of the fallacies. And then also it's like there is an underlying confidence in that it's built on the idea that I'm tough enough that I'm strong enough to handle that, to handle internally mutilating myself all the time.
You're very self-aware about it.
That doesn't help, though.
Why?
It identifies the problem, but it's like you have to live actively to live well, and I'm not living actively in intention. I'm like, my dad when I was growing up, he'd always say to live be proactive and not reactive. And I feel very reactive to I'm reacting to my environment and making a lot of like fear-based decisions. And it snowballs into living reactively, and then you feel like you can't do anything because you're not setting yourself up to do anything.
I understand completely.
And I say all of that,
Yeah.
and I change fucking nothing. I change fucking nothing.
Okay, two things.
Yeah.
First thing is the whole like I'm not talking down to anyone younger than me.
Yeah.
Is because I think I fucked up so bad when I was like, guys, this made me sound fucking old. When I was your age, I fucked up so bad.
Which is it's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But it doesn't feel that way. You
When
feel like a
you're living
loser.
it. Yeah. When you're living it, it doesn't feel that way. But when you look back on it, you're like, when you describe all of this and your mentality and you're like 23, I'm like, I think about where I was around the same time. You were further than me. And I think about it and I'm like, I can't judge that. I can't judge you for being 23. That's what you're supposed to you're supposed to be 23. And then the second thing was on hobbies stuff. What seems like, let's say it's magically tomorrow you were able to have the skill to do any new skill, whatever. What would it be? If you could just do any, like be a master at something. It couldn't be stand up or film. It just anything that you think would be kind of cool.
Backflips. No, I
I picture you as a rock climber, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's a fad. I think people are going to be climbing rocks for maybe another 3 years, and then it's done. And then white people are going to have to find something. White people who are kind of in shape are going to have to find something else to do.
I don't want to.
Everybody's climbing fucking rocks lately. Have you realized that? Everybody's doing jujitsu or climbing rocks.
I'm in the jujitsu camp.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
You are.
I'm not leaving.
And you are. Can I tell you honestly? Sometimes it feels like you radiate such joy about it.
Oh my god.
And it is like it's raw and natural and beautiful, but it is the energy of someone who's like coming at you with a cult or like a religious extremism, right? And
it fucks up the flow. I know, right?
it does fuck. Oh, I thought you were gonna have to like change.
No.
Yeah,
Literally just start.
Just reslate it.
Stupid. But it like a cult. It is.
Yeah.
It is very cult-like, and it is in the best way possible.
Yeah, it seems like you feel positive about that.
So good.
Yeah.
I
But about the way that it is cult-like, like the way that the way that it makes you feel, the way that like, you know, the observation that it is kind of similar to a religion.
Yeah.
Seems like something that feels positive from you, and that's something that, when we were talking about this last time, it's something that I am so like inherently skeptical of, but like it seems like such a positive thing for it. I'm really interested in.
I could talk about it because
Yeah.
I'll talk about it. I think there's a fine line between cult and community.
Yeah.
So I think cult doesn't let you leave. I can not go to jiu-jitsu anytime I want. They're not going to stop me. They're not going to be like, Aaron, you need to. They're not going to armbar me and drag me into the gym. Like, I can stop anytime I want. It's expensive. There's a lot. Sometimes I don't want. There's times I don't want to go at all. But I push myself to do it because I know it's good for me. And I needed community. Like, stand-up has a community or whatever, but you know this game is shady. People in this game are shady. And there's something.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to. I find it really hard to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to have, a community. And so there are a lot of people around, but I'm also like a fucking shy, so I don't know really how what my perspective on it is. But yeah.
But okay, with jiu-jitsu, it's I could break it down in pieces. Part of it is community. Part of it is a community of men in particular.
Yeah.
Because I was Mr. Pussyhound for my whole life, basically. And so having a group of yeah, dude, totally knocking, crushing, puss, and crying.
Two things I wish I was doing right now.
You're not getting girls right now? You don't have time.
Yeah, I'm spreading myself super thin,
Right.
and I'm, angry.
Fair
It's
enough.
not good.
That scares women. That really
Yeah.
does. They can pick up on that.
Yeah.
But it's having a group of men that is healthy.
Yeah.
And it's exercise. I'm in better shape than I was prior. It's confidence and self-defense. It's
Yeah.
like I know I'm not fucking Jackie Chan, and I need to keep reiterating that to people, because when you say you do jujitsu, there's this like, oh, you fuck people up. It's like, no, I got my ass kicked this morning by a brown belt who was going easy on me. but I have a lot more confidence in knowing I can defend myself. And most people don't know how to do that. I've come to realize.
Yeah.
So for me, it checks off a bunch of boxes of things I needed, and then to pivot to the drawing, like I need to learn how to slow down. Stand up, you can move and you can break things and move fast because it's stand up. Same with jiu-jitsu. Drawing is slow and quiet and meditative. And then back to jiu-jitsu. I am never more present than when I'm doing rolling or whatever. Like you could be present in stand-up. You kind of get present in stand-up because of the adrenaline and you're performing, but you can also go on autopilot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah.
But with jiu-jitsu, if you go on, you're going to get choked out. You're going to get put in an arm bar. You're going to snap your fucking bones, so you better pay attention. I'm never more focused than I am in jiu-jitsu. Never more present in that moment. Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't feel that way with football. I felt like in the same way that kind of like if you're having nervous sets with stand-up, you'll kind of black out when you're on stage, that kind of thing. I would have that with plays. And I think it was like one of the things that got in the way of me. Because I was good, but I wasn't great at football. I really, really wanted to be great. And that was one of the things where it's like I couldn't find that presence while doing it, which is interesting. I one of the reasons that I'm not going to say anti-jiu-jitsu, but that I'm not really interested in jiu-jitsu is I fear my ability to find that presence in that moment.
Interesting.
Because I think like I don't know. I was like I remember being really afraid playing football. I was very scared all the time. But I didn't want to show that, and I didn't want to show pain. And I was good. So it's like there was so much. I was like dampening myself, right? Like you want to shut down the fear. So eventually like, you close off these parts of yourself. And like to the point where it's like in football, I was closing off parts of myself. So I wasn't being able to be present. I wasn't making decisions as well as I could have been playing football. And that goes back to, also how you're living your life is like when you're scared, you're just shutting down these parts of yourself.
To then pivot back, what is something you like to do? Like you had all the time in the world
as a hobby.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like what? Honestly,
I forgot we were even talking about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you weasel out of that. What is? And this doesn't need to get decided now. But I think it would, even at the end of this, I don't know, when you leave to do whatever you're about to do, I assume hit a mic.
Yeah.
Maybe think about like what just seems cool. Like drawing just seemed cool, and jiu-jitsu just seemed really cool, and it just worked out. Like what seems cool to do, just to do it.
Dude, I really don't know, which is crazy. I would love going back because what you would ask is like if I could snap my fingers and be good at something. Music. I would like to be able to play an instrument.
Okay.
But I don't have natural talent in that way at all. So it would be all like very practical skill. Yep. And I don't think I want to play music badly enough to learn how to play music. And I've tried to learn like piano or guitar a few times, and I always stop. Also, my brother is like an insanely talented musician, and I think growing up, like for me, the reason to do something was to be good at something, and I knew I would never be as good as he was at that, so I never wanted to do.
That makes me sad. That makes me so
this
sad.
whole fucking podcast has made me very sad. I feel like I came in with the saddest energy. And to be fair, I got 2 hours of sleep last night.
You're good. You're good. Next time, because I do follow-up episodes called Join the Journey for a reason. There's people I started with. Brian Rowe, this will be his like 3rd-year anniversary coming up to do the podcast.
Nice.
And we'll be seeing him every year. So like, yeah, just hit me up, be a few months, maybe a year. Hit me up when you're in better headspace, and then we'll see the comparison.
We'll do a side-by-side.
Yeah.
Of me and a confident, manic episode.
Yeah.
Or no, me and a level hobby doing
something happen.
Space.
With music, so I play bass.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of the skills, the stand-up, drawing, jiu-jitsu, bass, fucking ASL, all of those skills, at least for me, were not natural. I wasn't naturally good at any of them. I just had to learn how to the basics of it, and then you get better from there. So I understand, and this isn't me saying you have to do music, but it's just it's the mentality that I think you have about it that is what's stopping you from figuring out what you even want to do. It's like yeah, you're not going to be. You're supposed to suck for a long time. You're supposed to suck. It's part of it. It's part of the fun. Then you get to look back and be like, oh shit, I got better. I think that's also comes in with I think that's part of the age thing.
Yeah.
Is like it's I used to hate it when people would say you'll get it when you're older, because it doesn't fix anything now. And it's like because it's literal time has to go by, and you need to feel the time and then look back before something clicks. But I don't know, man. I think it's just finding what you want to do. Would you like to pivot to the movie stuff?
Yeah, dude. I do. I can't. I got nothing on this hobby thing, and honestly, I've had this conversation with a few people in the last couple of months. Yeah, and
it's the universe, man.
Yeah, the universe needs me to get a hobby. But you know what? I also think that none of my family has a hobby.
Are they all like you?
Brown. No, my mom's white, but dude, so intense, especially my dad's side. It's all like this, just manic. My dad calls it squirrely energy, where you're just you're spinning out all the time. And I'm getting more of that as I get older, which kind of scares me. Because my dad got that way, and my brother got that way. Not that I love them both.
Are they gonna watch
so
this?
Much? If I post it, probably, and I will. When you post it, I'll repost it. And dude, my parents fucking love me so much.
I'm so excited.
Anything with my face on it, they're gonna listen to this whole fucking podcast. They're coming to see me do stand up on Friday,
First time?
But I don't like that.
Why?
I think that's part of the reason why I'm going crazy right now. This is something very interesting that we can open up right now.
Okay.
I want to succeed in front of my parents. I want them to see me as successful. Also, growing up, I felt like I had to be. I don't know if this is pressure that they put. I'm not going to say that this is pressure they put on me. I don't feel that way. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. Mm-hmm. But
I feel like now you're aware they're watching, and you're.
Yeah. Let me take a second and settle back in.
Do you want me
because I am.
Do you want me to talk, or do you want to give it a second?
If I just take 3 breaths, I
okay,
can be present with
take
you.
time.
I'll just lock back in.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I remember thinking, and I don't know what started this, but I remember thinking that one day I had to get really rich and successful, and save my family.
Save them from what?
Money problems. I think, as a kid growing up in a house with money problems, it's very, very scary. And I think part of me felt like if I could end that, then the scary shit would go away. And I thought that I could, and that gave me peace. And that was part of what was tied into football, is that I would get a scholarship, and I would play professional football and make all this fucking money and buy them a Range Rover.
It's very sweet.
I think it is sweet.
Yeah, it's. I can tell you that wasn't my motivation. My motivation was fuck you. I'll prove you wrong. So that's a very sweet perspective to come at it, but it's also not your responsibility.
No, it's not. But I have always wanted that for myself, and I think some of that carried over into stand up, but also stand up and film together. That I eventually someday I would be successful as an artist, and I would be able to save. And also, my dad's a cop. My dad works corrections.
Yeah.
In a jail.
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
And my dad's 63 years old, and he's breaking up gang fights in a jail.
Still. He can't retire?
Well, he started when he was 40. So my dad, what he sold, he had a lot of, grinder, all odd jobs. Yeah. Good juggling, 3-4 jobs at a time. For the most part, though, he was a car salesman for 20 years.
You're making more sense to me.
I don't know what the fuck that means. Let's put a pin in that, because I would like your note on that.
I'll write that down.
But when he was selling cars, the hours are crazy. So he was never around. And it was sad that he wasn't in, my mom's life and my brother's lives. So he got a job he was like, let me just get a good fucking honest, stable job. And he found an opening in the Department of Corrections. And he has been there, but he didn't start that until he was like 40. And he's working towards a pension. So because of that, he had to be there for 25 years. So he's still got like 2.5 years left. And dude, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, and like as a kid, I would be scared that he was gonna die, and he's like a fucking hero. It's, you know, obviously there's a lot of mixed emotions on the police, but my
I have some.
Right.
No offense to your dad if he listens.
Yeah, no, but like my dad, part of what I respect about him so much as a person and in the job that he has is he treats people with a lot of respect, and he raised me that way. And he is like, everything was built on that foundation. Not to say that it's not still messy being a cop. I don't know why I'm stuttering on this so much, but going back to like why I said that he was a hero is like my dad would like he was always putting himself in positions to protect people, and because of that I always thought that he was going to die. And like now he is an old man and he's working in a fucking jail, and it terrifies me. And part of me as a child thought that by like now I would be successful enough to save him from that. It's fucking Star Wars, you know? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? When Anakin goes back and his mom is like fucking dead, and he thought that he was going to save her and he couldn't, and now he has to kill kids. Now I feel like part of me feels like I have to go kill a bunch of kids. I have to go cut off a bunch of kids with a lightsaber.
Hair. You have that shit. That's crazy. Do you want? Okay, so I wrote this down.
Yeah, I got that was messy. I got lost in that for a while. So take me back to something.
We can either do the movies, my movie versus your movie, or we can do that makes sense. You make sense now. Which would you prefer?
I would like to do You Make Sense Now, but I don't want to not talk about your movie because I haven't heard a lot about your movie.
We got that shit written down. We're good.
Okay.
You Make Sense Now. So doing this podcast, I have a real thing about nature versus nurture now, because I've been getting to know these comics and their backstories, and like the way you are raised really affects you. You know what I mean? Like the way the people you're around.
That wow, okay.
But like
right.
I think about can you pass me the photo album? Yeah. Okay. Some of these people have like Hunter Hirsch, you know Hunter Hirsch? Yeah. So he's on the spectrum. And he's hilarious. He is hilarious. His episode's really funny too. But he's on the spectrum, and so I think he not a pass, but like there's something outside of that's the nature part. Like, there's really nothing that his family could do in terms of him being on the spectrum. Right. But someone like do you know Chloe Matonis?
No.
Okay. She comes from a really well put together family in San Francisco who has money, but not like stupid money, but they have money and they've raised their kids right. They fed them healthy food. Yeah. They were very reasonable and explained when, you know, things were happening in their lives. And she is now a producer mindset. She's really focused. She's in shape. She's intelligent. She's competent, and she's a very hard worker. And she's going to be successful. There's no way she's not going to be successful. But she comes from a family that has kind of built her into success. Whereas, and I don't want to compare in a negative way, but let me see if I can find somebody that it'll click with. God damn it. Okay, whereas Lero, the comedian, you know Lero?
No, I haven't met him either.
Okay, he's the guy I work with Second City. So
that show that you're doing.
He comes from a rougher background. This motherfucker went to prison, and his brother just got out. It's been like 20 years. Damn. And he's got God knows how many brothers and sisters, 6 kids. And it's like, him and Chloe come from their backgrounds and their lives are so different. It leads them to approach life in a different way. And when you talk about Thank you. When you talk about the way your dad is, the way your family is, this grind mindset, you're worried about becoming like them as you get older in the negative ways. He's the hero. It just makes sense. Like, the more I talk to these comics about their background, the more they make sense. And including myself in that. My background has dictated so much of how I approach this, and it's just fascinating and sad in some ways. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is sad in some ways.
For some people. For other people, it's not fair. Life's not fair, but I guess I get frustrated. I'm giving you an interpreting story. You ready?
Tell me.
So I was interpreting a police class, some type of cop class, and it was about narcotics and stuff. And so I'm interpreting this class, and there was the Dudley Do-Right fucking milk toast white kid right up front who is gung-ho about being a cop and has probably watched a bunch of cop movies from the 80s, and he's a hero and he's gonna clean up the streets, and fucking he's that guy. He's the guy you don't want to be a fucking cop.
Yeah.
I'm sure your dad's a sweet guy, and I'm sure I believe he's a great person.
Yeah, well, and I part of the reason I was puttering on that so much is I don't want to be the guy,
the Blue Lives Matter guy.
But I also don't want to be the guy who's like, like my dad's the exception to that, because it's like an institutional.
Yeah, it's complicated,
right? It's generational.
Yeah, and you're an intelligent. I get you. I get you. But we're talking about drugs, right? And the teacher is bringing up pictures of I think they call it crocodile or some shit like that. You know what that is?
Yeah.
And it's in like Florida specifically.
Yeah, dude.
And it just tears,
melts your skin off of your foot. It's flesh-eating heroin.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so the teacher, the professor, whatever, is showing these pictures and explaining, like, okay, this is what it does to your body. This is the epidemic. Here's the spaces that it's worse at. And this fucking Dudley Do-Right little bitch is up front. He's raising his hand, and he's like, I don't understand why would these people do that in the first place? It's going to hurt them. And they're what are they, idiots? What are they, stupid? It's like, you can't be in this profession and not be empathetic. You cannot be a cop and not think to yourself, why is this where is this person coming from? What? Yeah, you're right. That is crazy that you would take skin melting heroin. What was your life like that you're in a position where you think that's okay to take skin melting heroin? This guy's going to go out there. It's been years. He probably is a cop now. He's going to go out there. He's going to bust people's heads open for smoking weed because he can't wrap his mind around the fact that other people didn't grow up the way he did.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think it's a contextual shortcut. Right? I think it's like it's I don't know how much I invest in this idea, but like I think a big part of that is like you see something that's scary that you don't understand, and like you want to make it make sense as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And his approach to doing that was judgment.
Right. And
he also was young. I was young. I get it. And I'm judging him. I'm judging him, judging somebody. So it's tough. And this podcast has opened my eyes, man. Like talking to all of these people and seeing where they're all coming from is been fascinating. Yeah. Movies, you ready?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Okay.
Tell me about your where are you at? What is it?
So, short film.
Right.
Actually, okay.
Also, I don't know how much you're trying to give away.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if you talk about it on the pod.
I talk about it. How many actors are in your project?
There are, I want to say 15 speaking roles.
15 speaking roles, and then you have extras?
Yeah, but there's two leads. I'm one of the lead, and we have another lead who's fantastic, dude. I will say I was being
okay.
I've been very pessimistic.
I see it
all day. But I do love the movie, and there's a lot that I love about the movie. That's and good. we have a great cast.
I believe it. So 15.
Sorry,
no,
yeah, 15 speakers. I'm making amendments to all the shit that I said earlier.
You're good. 15 speaking roles minimum.
That's what's in it. Yeah,
okay.
That's what's in the script.
15 speaking roles. How long is it?
The script is like 65 pages,
Okay.
so runtime is like an hour 10.
Okay. So what feature? Is that feature?
Yeah.
Feature length?
Feature. Some people call that a featurette if it's like under an hour 30, under 20.
How many locations?
Jesus Christ, dude.
That says enough. You don't even need to tell me.
Yeah.
I was just gonna give you anxiety. Okay. My film is about 5 to 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
2 actors.
Nice.
In 1 location.
Nice.
And I remember, get ready being an old man. I remember when I was your age, we would make films, me and my friends, and we would do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's got to be feature length, and we
Yeah.
need explosions and guns and people running around, jumping over shit. And I would be an actor on. I was never a writer or director. I was always an actor. And I would sit there watching my friend Bryce and Matt. I would watch them pulling their hairs out, putting us in crazy situations. They would put us.
I'm looking into my future right now.
We had this. Oh shit! I can. Okay. One of them is an editor in Hollywood and is doing very well, and I know he does not want this movie to even be known. So I'm not gonna say the name of it, and I'll tell you more about it when the cameras are off.
Cool.
But we were in fucking swamp water, coming out of swamp water. We were in deserts, on mountain tops. It was dangerous. We were in alleyways with machetes and a fight scene. It just no permits, just running around being young and stupid.
This is my life.
Yeah, and the stress that you're yeah, because it's long, it's hard. You have to schedule a bunch of people. No one's getting paid, so people give. I don't doubt that your crew is a good crew,
But they're upset. They get upset.
Yeah,
They get stretched out. They get stretched too thin.
Yeah, and
Too much is asked of them.
if they're getting money, they shut the fuck up. No offense to your crew, but if they're getting money, they will grit their teeth and push through that shit because they're getting paid. But when you're not paying people, it's like, why the fuck am I here? Yeah. And so what I learned was what my plan is I'm going to make this short film. We're testing it out. I'm figuring out like how to direct it. What do we need to learn? I'm building my crew. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to make another one a little bigger, and we're working on that story now. And then we're going to try to do like a feature. And even that is going to be very condensed and small. Yeah. What I would do, finish your film. Please finish your film. Yeah. But what I would suggest is next time do you write it? Did you write it?
This script, I didn't write. I broke the story. I helped break the story for it. So I helped with the outline, and then my friend who's directing it wrote the script.
Next time, I would suggest go as small as possible. And watch how easy your life is.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
After this show, and actually me and this guy, me and my very dear friend have gotten in so many fucking fights this year. But because, like that show felt like a huge failure to me, mm-hmm. and I wanted to learn from that failure. And then he was like, let's make a fucking movie. Uh-huh. And I said no, and then he just took the lead on it, and then this movie started happening. I was like, okay, well, if you're doing all of this, this work and taking on this financial burden that fucking killed me, mm-hmm. Then I'll do this. And now we're doing it. But like, yeah, I wish I'd done something smaller. I say that all the time. However, there is like the amount of experience and the amount of reps just being on set, the amount of reps for me acting, because I don't have like a long experience, and I didn't act like as a kid. Mm-hmm. I like started doing short films a couple years ago, but like I don't feel like an actor. So like getting this many reps is starting to make me feel that way, and it's starting to make him feel that way as a director, and it's starting to make us feel that way as filmmakers. But it is just like it beats you up. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a good I don't think it's bad that you went so big. I don't think it's bad. I think it's exactly what you were supposed to do at 23. You're supposed to say, let's make a movie. Fuck it. You're supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. And then things will happen, and then the next time you'll learn even more. Yeah. Mine is it's a suspense horror thing. It's very simple. The maintenance guy comes to lone girl's house. It's creepy, and tension happens. Simple. Yeah.
and I want to make what I'm trying to do as a filmmaker, because I want to be a director too now, is I want to make Afro surrealism. I want to make like Atlanta and Jordan Peele style stuff. And I'm really excited. And for the next one, I'm going to hit you up, by the way, because you have all of this experience and connections. So, yeah, just know I'm going to tell you the story that we're working on, too, at the end of the...
I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah. How are you now? How are you feeling?
In this moment?
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel very grateful that we've had this conversation, man.
Yeah.
I have never been interviewed on a podcast before.
How's it feel?
It's weird that it's only my coverage.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going for it.
But yeah, it's an adjustment. You know, it's like, you know, stand-up's an adjustment. Film is an adjustment. It's been an adjustment, like finding comfort in this seat talking to you with a light and a camera.
Yeah.
But it's been nice.
Are you ready for the last questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to pretend there's going to be two. It's going to be a twofer. This is what I usually do when people's families come into play. So if you could say anything to your mom and dad, dad probably specifically, and this is your dad right now, the camera. what do you want to say to your dad?
If I could say anything to my dad right now, I'm very grateful for my dad, and he, like, this energy and this grit and this grind that he has is so just like singularly focused on taking care of the people that he loves.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that I have that in me.
And then I also like how you still didn't look at the camera. You acting like I'm fucking over here.
Well, I was looking away. I was trying to think.
You're thinking,
I was
okay,
pensively
all right.
looking away.
Then
I'm sorry. I'll look at the camera.
Right, you're good. And
Dad.
Then, yeah. Okay.
I love you. And thank you. Aaron really put me on the spot right now.
You ready? You ready for the second question?
Yes.
Okay. If you could say whatever you want to yourself 5 years from now, what do you want to say?
5 years from now?
Yeah.
I can say anything to myself 5 years from now. I'm 28. Fucking take it easy, man. I guess. I don't know what I would say to myself 5 years from now. I hope that you're happy where you are. I hope that you're proud of yourself. Right now, I don't feel proud of myself, and it's hurting me. And I hope that you feel proud of yourself.
Okay. Let's take that picture.
Okay.
Okay. You okay?